We are just wrapping up the holiday season with back-to-back holidays, and I know how it can get, right? Sometimes, depending on your situation, it can feel kind of like lonely. Sometimes you compare your situation to others, right? And you're not crazy. You're not wrong for doing so. You're not weird or strange. It's human. It's a completely human thing to do. And loneliness is something that we all feel at some point in our lives. And it's not something that you need to be ashamed of or run from. Because some people feel alone even in a room full of people. We're complex. We are very complex people, very complex human beings. And it's not easy for us to always feel understood. Sometimes we can have a lot of friends or associates, acquaintances, but we can still feel alone. We can still feel like no one really gets us. And that is a lonely feeling. And it's not anything that you're doing wrong. It's nothing that you need to fix. We just need to understand ourselves better. And when we're feeling those emotions, it's important that we learn how to deal with them in a healthy way. We don't have to act on it right away. The feeling of loneliness, it can be a really strong emotion. And when we feel these strong emotions, sometimes we feel like we need to act on it. But we don't want to be desperate. We don't want to be dependent. So it's important to connect with ourselves and understand ourselves. Understand why we're feeling that way and what we need in that moment that will impact us positively, positively, positively. You are not alone. doing a great job. You're doing a great job. I'm so proud of you. Relax, relax, relax. Girl in pieces. Do you like reading? Or do you like writing? Do you like listening to books? Audiobooks, audiobooks, audible. I like to read and I like to write. I felt lonely a lot in high school. I didn't have like a big friend group in high school. So I fell in love with reading and writing because it allows you to just disappear into a different world. Fiction, that is. Of course, if you're writing an autobiography, you're not disappearing into anything. So, reading and writing a lot of fiction really sparked my creativity. And I think that being creative and imaginative is important. And I just love that I still have those skills to this day. I still write when I get overwhelmed. I read all of the time. I remember the first time I went to Canada, I was probably 12, and I had never paid attention to the price sticker before, but everything in Canada is much more expensive than in the United States. And I remember looking at the prices over there thinking, oh my God. And now, when I'm in the United States, and now, all I do every time I see stickers like this, I just think, that's crazy. A $4 difference is insane. I wonder what the salary difference is. I'm sure it works out being better in a lot of ways. Or maybe the grass is just greener, I don't know. good for you. But I think that this boosted my confidence a little bit. Tapping, tapping, tapping. It's okay. I understand you. I think a lot of times we misunderstand the way that people show their care. Not all forms of how people show their care are acceptable, but a lot of times our frustration and disappointment comes from people not showing care for us in the same way that we show it for them. And I resonate with that. I totally understand that. That's definitely where disconnect lives for a lot of us. But it doesn't mean that you're not cared about. It doesn't mean that you're not loved. A lot of people just have a different capacity for love and care. But I'm here. I get you. And I understand you. Can I do this without looking? Girl. In pieces. Not too bad. A novel. Kathleen. Glasgow. It actually looks like it was erased. There's a reason for that, which I won't mention here. Relax. You're safe here. Now it's actually bothering me a little bit, like I definitely want to erase this. In school, when we had to use pencil and I made a mistake, I would rather start a new paper because I didn't want to see these hideous erasure marks from the low grade pencils. It wasn't like a Ticonderoga. It was like a low grade pencil, so the eraser kind of sucked. The eraser sucked. And it would leave these marks on the paper. I'd be like, ugh, just give me a new piece of paper, Just give me I'll start my 5-paragraph essay from the top. I remember so many things about English because English honestly was my favorite subject. Again, your girl is a reader and writer, and I remember there was a time in school when they told us that a paragraph was 4 sentences, and I was like, okay, cool, that makes sense. And then once we got to higher grades, they upgraded and they told us that a paragraph was actually 5 sentences, and sometimes they would make it 6. At other times, I heard that a paragraph is 3 sentences. So what is the truth? So, thank you so much for hanging with me for a little bit today. You're such a gem. You're treasured. You're important. You're so important. To me and to everyone who knows you. Thank you for stopping by to the Ray SMR studio.